Hi Annie, Michelle here. I wanted to give you some feedback on your bike story, bike theft story. Overall, I think you had all the pieces working really well. I think the story just needed some restructuring. So I wanted to tell you kind of what I did. Um, so we have a person to kind of start out as an example, which is always a good way to start a trend story. And I really like the way you did that. But then I felt like we needed to talk about the trend because that's what this is about. I just said she's one of a rising number of victims of bike theft on campus from January 1st to November 18th. There were 105 bike thefts reported to UNLPD. In 2016, there were 87, and in 2016, oops, is that right? I'm gonna check that. Hang on. Discrepancy. So I'm assuming this is 2015. But please check that. Because um that would be wrong if it isn't. So yeah, double check that. The interesting thing, if that is 2015, and I guess it doesn't matter if it isn't, but if they really went, they're doubling um, from over a 3 year period, which is sometimes, interesting to say. Um, you know, Bike thefts have doubled since 2015. Um, so kind of look for things like that to kind of put things into perspective. Um, okay, I didn't understand this either. In 2017, the most bike thefts on campus occurred outside of the north or south sides of Canville. I just wanted to be sure that I'm understanding that. Um, Instead of, do we need to say north or south? Could we just say the most bike thefts on campus occurred outside of Canfield? Um, and I'm kind of confused by that. I mean, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Is that a common place to park? Um, or is it people going to the Union? Um, I just think that needs a little bit of clarification. Um, let's see. Um, I mean, I thought this bait bike was awesome. I'm just curious, did he say how often that is stolen? That'd be interesting, but not necessary. So essentially what I did was use Duden as an example, talked about the trend, talked about how UNL has changed its policy, then kind of used a transition to say, because this was about, you know, preventative. This is kind of about preventative. Um, Talked about her suggestions, and then DeBelka's suggestions, and there you go. I cut out the other woman. I just didn't feel like she added anything to it. Actually, kind of detracted because there just wasn't enough there to really be interesting. Um, So that's kind of what I did with the story. I think it reads a little bit better than I didn't I think as you had written it. Um uh it kind of um I guess to me um this part about what you should be doing should come later. I think it's more interesting if we're talking about the bike trend, we talk about the bike trends and we talk about what UNL was doing, and then we talk about what can be done to prevent it. So anyway, that's just my thought. And I can be, persuaded. Otherwise, I just didn't think this added much. So let's talk about the multimedia. Okay, I love the map or the Google Fusion table. It might be kind of nice to add, because you can't really do this very easily in Fusion tables. This is something I remember. But add, right after this sentence, maybe in bold, type, a map of 2017 bike thefts on campus, on East City and East Campus, or something like that, so people know what this is about. Kind of introducing the map, I think that would be good. I liked all this. I think this was really graphically good. I don't know, maybe you should actually add that, most of the bikes were, when you mention Canfield, you ought to mention Abel Sandos. I just wonder, do the police have a reason for that? Is there a reason? That's kind of interesting to me. I feel like that's kind of a little bit of a hole that could be filled, but it would be nice to have that. But yeah, that looks good. And your video is awesome. Really a great addition to this. It's shot well. It's helpful. That was really a good choice for multimedia. I think it just fits in really well. So good job on this. Let me know if you have any questions. I think you just have a couple of things to fix, and then you're going to be good to go to publish. I think what might be easier, maybe not, but what might be easier is to start anew, because it's significantly changed, and I would rather prefer you use my revised version because I made changes there. Take that revised version, start a new post, and then add in your embed codes for these. Or, take out all of the story, copy and paste in the new story, and then move things around, whatever works for you, but just make sure we have the right story. So there's that. Fixing the year. You have 2016 twice. I'm thinking this is 2015. Also adding an intro for the map. And then if there's any explanation, any way we can clarify Canfield, why there, you want to add Abel Sandos. The most occurred outside Canfield. Second highest spot was Abel. Maybe say that. But those would be my suggestions. And then once you've done that, send me an email and we'll publish it, because I'd love to see this get published. It's a really nice package. So good job on this, Annie.